Hey guys, this is Patrick, and you're watching Patrick Programs. So, this video is going to be about how I program my projects, how I think about it, and how I go from start to finish. And I think a lot of people might end up disagreeing with my methods, but, it works for me, and I like doing it this way. But I think over time it's going to evolve, and I'll probably do it in another way. But for now, this is, how I do it. So, what I've done in the past, I've had an idea of different tools in different languages that I want to use on a project. So my first step normally is to think about, okay, what stack do I want to use? And what a lot of people do is first they'll have an idea and then they'll base their stack off of their idea. But me, because a lot of it has been me just trying to learn more, I base my ideas off of my stack. So then I'll pick like a front end. Like, okay, so I'll give you an example of a project that I'll be working on soon. Uh, I plan on using React as my front end since I don't have much experience with React. I want to use MySQL as my backend database because I normally use MongoDB, but now I want to go deeper into MySQL. Use Go as a backend language. So that's my idea. I haven't done like too much research into it, but I know these are like the tools and languages that I want to use. So then now I need to figure out, can I actually use these tools to build the project? So then I start I start like writing what I want to do for the project. I think of an idea and then I'm like, okay, so I want to make a website that does this. I'm not going to tell you guys my idea yet, but I have a website and I want it to do this. Okay, so React allows me to do this. Okay, that works fine. I can use React. Okay, I can store everything on my SQL just fine. Okay, now what about Go? Can I use Go to do everything that I want it to do? If the answer is yes, then I'm fine. If the answer is no, then I can still use Go, but I can only use it for specific tasks. Anything else that I need the application to be able to do, I can just use another language. Like if I split my application into microservices, then I can just use Python to do one thing and use Go to do something else. So for the most part, I'm just using my projects to learn how to use tools better, and that's pretty much how I like to do things. For example, in the case of React, I'm not super good with React, and I've looked at some YouTube tutorials and they're pretty good, but they're not the best. I bought a class on Udemy, and my plan is to finish my class, build out the applications that he's using, and then use what I learned to build my own application. Now, I don't have to finish the class. I also don't really have to do much of it. I mean, I'm skilled enough now to just go and read documentation, but I do like the idea. Like, I like class. It sounds a little weird, but I like taking classes, and it might take a little bit of time, but it makes me feel more comfortable knowing that I have an expert teaching me how to do it, and that I've already completed a project. Even though I didn't complete it on my own, I completed a project that I was guided through by an instructor. I also don't have like too much experience using Docker and Kubernetes, like cloud computing stuff, Amazon Web Services. So I have another class that teaches me how to build an application using those tools. So before I start building my application, I already have an idea of the tools that I want to use and how I want to deploy it. So I learn all the things that I need to learn before I start building the project. And as I'm building the project, I'm obviously not going to know everything. I'm still going to make a bunch of mistakes and I'm going to have to, go online, Google it, and figure things out. I feel like it's a good thing, and it can only help that I took the classes and I have a really good idea of how things should work and how they look. So when I'm working on a project, I like to go and write down. I like to make like documentation for it. I like to split everything up into ideas and different services. Like, if I think about what I want the entire application to do, and then I write it down piece by piece. Like, okay, so I want to create a login system. So what objects and classes am I going to need for me to build a successful login system? And how am I actually going to execute it? So before I even start programming, I write everything down in a book so that I have the ideas on paper. So that when I start programming it, it's a lot easier and I can catch mistakes a lot faster. And after I've gotten all the designs down and everything, the structure of how I want to program everything, then I go and I start programming it. So the first thing I do is I learn everything, and then I create a template, and then I start programming. And, while I'm doing that, obviously I might have to Google things and learn new things and, maybe things are not the way that I thought they would be and I need to make changes. So that happens. And, you know, a lot of times I'll text one of my friends or one of my classmates and I ask them for some help. I ask them, do you know anything about deploying applications onto Amazon Web Services? And, you know, sometimes they'll be helpful. Other times they won't be so helpful. And I also like doing things in groups. So sometimes I'll, like, you know, text one of my friends and ask them if they're interested in building a project with me, because it's always more fun to build something with people. I mean, at least in my opinion. Like, if I'm going to make money off of something, I mean, I would obviously rather have most of it for myself, if not all of it for myself. But I think it's nice to have people to work with you on the journey. And so splitting it with, you know, one or two other people is nice. So I like to, you know, hit people up and see if they'd like to work on a project with me. But yeah, that's about it. So thank you for watching. If you like the video, please like it and subscribe to the channel if you like it. And don't forget to tell your friends about it, especially if you feel like, you know, these videos will be helpful to them. So thank you.